Hey, I know it's been a while since I recorded my last video, but I decided to look at a bunch of places around the city, kind of put some just kind of landscape sights and scenes together. Nothing very specific, just around town. And this is at a friend's, another fellow expat's rooftop at their Airbnb, and we went right over before sunset. So I was walking around on the roof, and that's Uno de Septiembre. That is a main corridor in Punta Carretas neighborhood, and I was just kind of walking around showing that is over where we live in Positos, which is kind of, you can't see the sunset from where we are because the land mass Punta Carretas kind of juts out, but it was cool to be able to do this. This was probably like 3 or 4 weeks ago actually, that we came here, but you can see down there it's the Ramblas, and I bike on there all the time, and kind of go out to that little around, that's more towards the other side of it is Ciudad Vieja. So yeah, it was a really nice night, and I wanted to show the full experience there. So this is just the sunset only. I tried to, I fast forwarded this video a little bit, but it was cool to see the sunset actually go down completely, even though there were a lot of clouds that day. We were still able to see it, and yeah, it'd be great to have like a apartment or house you could see the sunset. We can from our balcony, but it's blocked by a lot of buildings and stuff, and but it's still pretty cool anyways. So this is the Faro de Punta Brava. That's the Punta Brava Lighthouse. Faro is the word for lighthouse in Spanish. And so just so you know where everything is, that's Uruguay, and then that is the faraway view, and then you can see Buenos Aires is to the west, and this is the lighthouse location in the city. It's the southernmost point of Montevideo. So I usually come down here, I run down here. It's about 2.5 miles along La Rambla, and it's that day that I ran was very clear and dry. We've been having a lot of like hot and humid weather, but now it is finally fall, which is March down here, and the temperatures are a lot nicer, in the 70s. It was kind of horrendous for a little bit, and then I came here the day after it rained one day to see the actual light in action, which was kind of cool. It was very muddy. There's some sort of utility company, but then there's a restaurant that's also down at the end of this road. So it was pretty cool to actually see all this like at dusk. So you can actually go up to the top, which we did when we first visited the city. I think it costs like $2 a person. I think it's open from like 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. A little bit of history is since 1948, the light flashes red every 10 seconds, which tells it apart from other lighthouses or buoys. It's important to this day. And in 1962, it was connected to the electric network. It is 21 meters tall, which is 69 feet, and has a light range of 18.5 nautical miles. So there's a huge port called the Buceo Port that is still functional today, so a lot of boats will use it. So the same day that I think I rode down to that lighthouse, but I rode on my ElliptiGO kind of like at dusk, a little bit too late, but it was so crazy with the wind that the waves were like crashing against the wall on the Rambla, and you can see right there, just like crazy water. And then people were crossing and I like almost hit them. But it was really, I had never seen the wind that strong, and it was really difficult to actually bike on my ElliptiGO. So this was at the very end of where the Rambla begins, or I guess the beginning. So I stopped because the sunset was so amazing that I wanted to get a good shot of it here. And it doesn't get old, but yeah, you can see the sea is very rough, and the water was actually spilling into the bike lane because of all the waves crashing. And it had rained the night before or earlier that day, so yeah, but I really enjoyed coming down here and just kind of taking in the sight of the sunset, and so does everybody else. Everybody always looks at me crazy because of my weird bike that no one else has. I think probably the only person on the whole continent that will have this bike here. Coming back from my ride, it was already past sunset, so the sky just kind of became really pretty with like lots of purples and pinks and blues, and I think it's just like the moisture level, the changing of the moisture from humid to more dry weather at this time of year produces skies like this. And this was just a shot back at the apartment. You can see the sunset happening, but it's kind of like lost behind the buildings. But because we're on the part of the land that's cut off, cut behind Punta Carretas. But it's still pretty cool to see almost every night.